directly about watching bands play music, but I want to do my own thing where I want to go through and figure out what some key music was that got me going down the musical path I'm on. And I was trying to think of it the other day, and I took some notes, and I don't think I got very far because I'm like, oh, let's do it in a fucking live stream or whatever, which never works. Where's the... I don't know. First is under F. I don't know, man. And this is why, fucking... Anyway, let's start by searching for some stuff that, first bands I remember listening to. Let's see. There's nobody here. Why is nobody here? Am I streaming? Maybe I'm not. Maybe I am. Let's see. Yeah, dude, we're on. Just nobody's watching. That's fine. I can do this by myself. Hopefully some people join and we can talk about some music and stuff. So let me see. What was the first earliest memories of like really enjoying a song or enjoying music, not just passively like riding in a vehicle? And I think that was maybe the Super Bowl Shuffle by the Bears. We were listening to that on a 45. It's an old vinyl record back before they were cool. They were just what we had. And there was cassettes around, but yeah, we had that on 45 and we used to listen to that over and over. Samurai Mike and I stop him cold. Part of the defense, big and bold. What's up, Nostalgia Trip Media? Yeah, you're here. So one of the first things that got me really interested in kind of listening to a song was a rap song, albeit by the fucking Chicago Bears. And then another thing I remember listening to was Karma Chameleon by Boy George. Let's see. Because there was a definite turn somewhere where I went from listening to popular shit to other stuff. I'm trying to figure out when that happened. And I think I know. I think it was Faith No More. But the first record that I actually got myself was Electric Breakdance, which I actually have that record on the way. Thinking I would wait and make this video when I got that so I should show it, but I forgot. I thought I was going to do that. So hip hop and rap was kind of like, yeah, this album here was really early on what got me kind of, and it's this song, dude. Freaking jam on it. I love this song. I listen to it over and over. I don't know how much of this I can play.
Yeah. Jam on it.
I love this song, dude. I listen to it over and over and over. And it's so loud. And that's about what my record looked like, dude. It was wore out. I remember looking at these poses, trying to do those poses, and break dance into this freaking thing. and Kluge poster. What? And let me see what the track list was. Here we go. So so the first stuff I purchased and listened to over and over was Electric Breakdance from 1984. So I probably got it around 84, 85, which would have made me, 7? Yeah, 7 or 8 years old. Who's messaging me? All right, hold up. The boy needs gas money. Do I have any money to send to him? $10. It's not enough. Anyway, Jam on It was a song I liked the best. Then, so Nucleus, Double Vision, Houdini, D Train, Twilight 22, Grandmaster Flash and Melly Mel, Globe and WizKid, BT and the City Slickers, and Run DMC. I think my favorite songs on here were Nucleus, Jam on It, and Run DMC. It's Like That. Oh no, BT and the City Slickers, Rocket, dude. I thought Rocket was Herbie Hancock. Let me get some freaking money here. Yep. I really thought Rocket was Herbie Hancock, and that was probably. Oh, can I listen to this stuff? No, we can go back to this. So Nucleus was this.
Jam on it.
So loud.
With the sack of big match, throwing down and with the microphones at on time. In your mind, see, you gotta move it to your bed.
Over and over, and then we got. Oh, okay, disco. What is this? This Rocket? Dude, Fat Boys. They're on this? That wasn't on the list. This is not this album, bro. This is not this album. I find the right. Is this the one? That's in Spanish. I had the bonus one. 84. They're all Spanish, dude. That's the one I had. Include your poster. Am I not gonna be able to find the right one? This is the one I had. I had a poster. Yeah.
You rock so naturally. I said now that you've learned the deal. Go 3,
That's the Fat Boys, dude. Down. Take it down. So Disco 3, Disco Gorditos. Yeah, this is different than the one I had. Son of a bitch. Anyway, Rocket was on the one I had, and so anyway, Electric Breakdance. Let's put that. Maybe they release a shorter version. Maybe. But mine, I remember this cover with all this stuff on here. But anyway, so that was the first thing I had, and I listened to it over and over and tried to dance and did do some dancing to it and whatever. So what would be the next one then? So I need to make like, how do I make a fucking, how do I make a, let me grab a screenshot of something here. Boys. We'll take this one here. I am going to make a fucking map, dude. Okay, we're going to take this, make it a little bitty up here. First album purchased, Electric Breakdance. Can you demonstrate? No. I will literally turn it into a factual thing instead of an idea of a thing. I will break. I was young. I even taught other kids how to breakdance. Not professionally, mind you, but friends would be like, "Hey, how you do that?" And I'd be like, "You do this." Remember this one dude, Dennis. He was kind of a bully to other kids, not to me, but he was kind of a jerk. But he wanted me to show him how to breakdance. I showed him. It was funny. He never told anybody, of course. So what was the next thing that I got? I think it was I think the next thing we listened to a lot was Beastie Boys. I think LL Cool J was in there somewhere. My musical journey started off with hip hop, dude. That's pretty freaking crazy, actually. I think LL Cool J, I'm bad. Yeah, I forgot about that. Bad. Yeah, dude. I had this tape back in the day, and I remember somewhere and it says, "My cock's strong, half a block long." It's like, what? Young dude. So we'll put this in here. We'll put this in here because there was LL Cool J. And I remember at the same time we were listening to LL Cool J, we were also listening to AC/DC. That doesn't look very good, does it? We're also listening to AC/DC. And because I remember distinctly being outside skateboarding. Oh, they're so little. And we had a boombox out there and we were listening to LL Cool J, AC/DC, and that was weird. Me and my brother were like playing catch outside. John Congo's for Niru. Right on. So I got to put Beastie Boys, which this was mine. I don't think I had purchased Electric Breakdance, but I don't think I bought. I think this was a gift. Then another one that, wow, dude, I'm remembering things now. So it was, I hope I can find this Power Rap tape. It was a compilation tape, 86. This had the Super Bowl Shuffle on it. Run DMC, Fat Boys, Dougie Fresh, Lottie Dottie. This was the one I had. And I listened to this a lot too. And this is like some real rap, dude. Pretty cool, actually. Wow. And this one, actually, Snoop Dogg put out on his Doggy Style album, he had a version of Lottie Dottie. And I was like, that's not how the words are. I remember the Super Bowl Shuffles and Run DMC, Fat Boys, and Dougie Fresh and MC Ricky D. Those are the ones I remember off of that. So, rap, dude. What's up, Mustang? What about after that, dude? The Beastie Boys. When did that? I'm not sure when we acquired the Beastie Boys tape. I think we got it, and then my parents ended up hearing it, and they're like, "No, you will not be listening to this." They took it away from us twice. And I remember distinctly being like, "But look," he says, but I can't pay attention because I'm on that dust. He's saying, "Don't do it. It's bad." I'm like trying to justify the lyrics to my parents. But that was the first one that got like taken away, was Beastie Boys, License to Ill. And I continued listening to Beastie Boys my entire life. Mustang Grand Puma. My first album was Three Dog Nights, It Ain't Easy back in the 70s. Wow. Now, so Beastie Boys, right? Yeah, it got a lot of people going. I don't know. I think I heard LL Cool J first. I don't know. I think I just knew it was rap, so I wanted it. I don't know if I think he had maybe I don't know where I heard his music. Maybe something on the radio. It's hard to tell because there wasn't MTV. You just had to listen to the radio. So oh man, where did it go from here? When was Beastie Boys licensed? It was 86. So we're 84, 85. I think Power Rap was like 85, 86. So yeah, these are all pretty tight together. Micho Gorilla says, I'm embarrassed to admit some of the first few albums I bought were Janet Jackson, Belinda Carlisle, the Bangles, and Madonna. Thank God for Band-Aid. Well, bro, see, you just helped me because Michael Jackson came around, dude. And we loved Michael Jackson, dude. Loved Michael Jackson. And it's still great shit. I mean, I think, all the shit that happened around him, I think has been, I think we've been lied to a lot. I'm not getting into that. He definitely had a fucked up childhood and a pretty fucked up life, just being as ultra famous as he was. But I remember I had a poster of Michael Jackson on my wall. Yep. So Thriller was awesome. I remember Thriller and Bad. Let's see. I remember when the video for Thriller came out, dude. Yeah, I had this poster on my wall, which is kind of funny because it's just a weird poster, but that was up there, dude. I listened to it over and over and over. And then, oddly enough, I did actually listen to a lot of comedy albums. My dad had comedy albums, so I listened to a lot of Bill Cosby, which it's unfortunate when time goes on how things change as far as your perception goes. So maybe this is why I'm not a racist asshole like so many other people who live in Plymouth, Indiana. Because most of my music I was young. We're talking 8 to 10, was listening to hip hop, man. And Michael Jackson. Now there was some, let's see. So I think junior high was, I remember, I'll admit, liking New Kids on the Block. Because I hadn't yet found anything that was metal that I really liked. Right? I hadn't heard anything like that. We didn't listen to stuff like that. But I do know. So when was that shit, dude? I never owned any of their fucking albums. Because there's a weird. When did they start? Timeline seems off, dude. When did they start? 84, 86. New Kids on the Block debut album was 86. So we're in this time frame too. 86. I didn't own any of it. Did I? Maybe I did, dude. I don't know. But I remember Hanging Tough because I thought it was a cool song. I liked it. But 80. When did Hanging Tough come out? Because right around that time, I found, we had MTV, I think is what happened. We had MTV. Did I own New Kids? I don't think I did. But MTV was a thing. And I think what it was, because the big turning point was, I think Guns N' Roses, because that was 89. I remember listening to Guns N' Roses with, I didn't own it, but my brother had. Man, it makes me think I need to put. Oh God, I don't know what album it was. It's like I need to include this, even though I didn't really own it, because it was part of my journey, dude. Look at this. Look at this fucking. I didn't know what a boy band like. I didn't know these guys were just playing characters, and it was just stupid. This dumb crap. Look at this freaking list. So around this time, was this 89? Appetite for Destruction comes out. Turning Point, right? So Guns N' Roses, Appetite for Destruction. And my brother had it. I didn't have it, but I remember hearing it and thinking, oh, that's like the first time I heard heard the F word on a record, and I thought it was the coolest thing in the world. And the music was great, and this is a big jump, man. This is a big jump from New Kids on the Block. This is a turning point here. We're going to a heavier area. So I was still listening to hip hop and stuff. I liked rap. Oh, DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince was a huge one. That was one I listened to at the same time around Beastie Boys. He's a DJ, I'm the rapper. Was something I listened to over and over and over, dude. Little I know he's going to become a freaking psycho later. So this is actually, I'm going to have to move. I can't move it. Son of a bitch. It's around the same time. So I liked rap. Okay. And Appetite was 87? Was it? What? Oh, 87. Wow. Okay. So that explains a little bit more why then. So that was 87. What was. Oh, I've been thinking it was 89 forever. Okay. 87. That makes sense. I remember that came out and it was on the radio, and I was like, talk to my brother. I'm like, what is this? I need to know what this is. So we checked that out, and I loved it, dude. I thought it was incredible. And then we had MTV so we could see people. And then, man, 87, there was stuff, there was still like a lot of like DJ Jazzy Jeff and whatever. I mean, I'm Poison. I think we had Poison, Motley Crue. We were listening to that stuff, like the hair metal shit was going on. So Poison was, I hate to look that up, but I don't know even know if we owned one of those. I think my brother had that too. My brother listened to everything. What was that album? The girl with the. This one here. I think we had this. I don't know, but it was definitely in heavy rotation. So we'll throw that in there too. What a wild ride, dude. And somewhere in here, because when was this? Shut up and say ah. '88. Wow. Okay. After GNR. Nevery says heavy metal put me off. Hair metal put me off metal for a decade or so. So look, like a lot, there's all the stuff that's going on the radio was, we were listening to it. We listened to U93 was our local station, and it played everything. And that's where I first heard Guns N' Roses. And then I think what happened was we got MTV, and everything changed because now we're coming up to 89. Okay, because this is what was that, 83 or 87, 88? There's 87, 88. Listen to Guns N' Roses, a bunch of rock stuff, and then Faith No More, Epic comes out on MTV. And as we have seen, I was listening to a lot of rap and hip hop through all this time. Faith No More comes out, and they're the dudes rapping over hard rock, and I fucking loved it. I thought it was the coolest thing ever, and I don't see this in my head next to Poison. It was more like Guns N' Roses, Faith No More, but we figured out the timeline. And Faith No More was a huge turning point because it included, I love the album, the whole thing. It taught me about dynamics and hard rock and heavy metal and how you can play whatever you want. It doesn't have to be this or that. But their last song on that album was War Pigs by Black Sabbath. And I just saw that Faith No More is getting back together. That's right, Nostalgia Trip Media. I just saw that. I'm like, hell yeah, dude. But the last song on that album, on this one, was War Pigs. And I did not know it was Black Sabbath. I hadn't heard Black Sabbath. The family usually listened to like oldie stations when we traveled around, right? So I heard the song and it was the coolest thing I had ever heard. War Pigs was bar none the coolest thing I'd ever heard. And I was a nerdy kid who looked at all the liner notes and saw like who they thanked and everything. So I'm looking through the liner notes, and Ozzy was a thing. He was around. His music was being played. It's not like I didn't hear Ozzy. I liked Ozzy, but we never like. I remember looking at posters and being like, I want that poster, like him as a fucking werewolf, Diary of a Madman. My parents were like, no. Because I thought Ozzy was cool. So he was in there. I don't know, man. He was around, but I don't think we own any albums. But anyway, I'm looking at the liner notes and it says written by, because I was listening to it on my dad's stereo. I was listening to War Pigs, and my dad walks in. He goes, that sounds like Ozzy. I'm like, what? Ozzy? So I look at the liner notes and I'm reading. It's like, it has the writers on there. It's like Bill Ward, Tony Iommi, John Osborne, and Geezer Butler. I'm like, John Osborne. I'm like, was his name John? He's like, I don't know. It was Ozzy. I'm like, Osborne. I didn't know any other Osbornes. You know what I mean? So I started doing what research I could. I don't even know how I found out. I think my dad told me it was Black Sabbath was the name of the band. Mustang says, wasn't that about the time Nine Inch Nails come on the scene? Yeah, it was. I didn't hear about Nine Inch Nails till later, though. So I knew of Ozzy. I didn't know about Black Sabbath. But now my dad says, yeah, it's Black Sabbath. That's a Black Sabbath song. I'm like, Black Sabbath? That sounds like the coolest band name ever. So then I'm at school talking to kids. I'm like, oh, well, there's a song, but it's not a Faith No More song. It's a Black Sabbath song. My friend Scott said, my dad has a Black Sabbath album. I'm like, really? He's like, yeah, I'll bring it over. So they bring over Master of Reality, dude. So the first actual Black Sabbath music I ever heard was on vinyl, and it was Master of Reality, which I think is their best fucking album. That album is incredible, and I loved everything about it, and I listened to it over and over, and this was even more dynamic than Faith No More stuff. There's classical kind of sound and stuff on it, and there's heavy stuff. It was heavier than anything Faith No More did, and it was so just natural sounding, and I absolutely fell in love. They were like my favorite band. Boom. Faith No More, and then it goes to Black Sabbath, the Master of Reality. Right, and it had it was purple and black. It was this, really. The cover was just embossed. Hold on. the cover was embossed for the Master of Reality part. So it was just the only color was the purple Black Sabbath, and then Master of Reality was embossed on the album. Albums are so fucking cool, dude. Oh yeah, we'll get the friggin'. And this is what changed my life, man. It changed my whole musical adventure from whatever was kind of around. Then as Faith No More, and as Black Sabbath, and then I'm like, metal, huh? What is metal? And then I think that tied in with Headbangers Ball. Once I found out about that and I could stay up and watch it or sneak around and watch or whatever, was what really set me off, because somewhere around this time I learned about Metallica. They had the song One was like the only video they had. And I saw it, and it was different than everything else that was on there. Everything else was still like fucking cheesy metal, like Balls to the Wall and crap like that, which some people I know are gonna like. But stuff like that and kind of hair metal and stuff, and then see One by Metallica, I'm like, what is this, dude? And it was the heaviest, fastest thing ever, and I absolutely loved it. Hey. I will. Live streaming. So what happened then? I don't know how long it was before I got a hold of any Metallica anything. I think the first Metallica album I had was Ride the Lightning. And my girl, like a girlfriend at the time, and we have moved on too. Sure. What year that was, because it wasn't like when I heard them. I don't know. When did I hear that? 89 Sabbath. And now I'm like 12, 13, junior high. And I was also skating. I hadn't started playing guitar yet. So skateboarding, which put me in touch with a bunch of weird freaking skater dudes, which then I learned about punk. And then, oh man, so yeah, GNR, Faith No More, Sabbath. And then I started getting into maybe suicidal tendencies. There's a lot of random shit, but that's one thing I played a lot of was Suicidal Tendencies. Lights, Camera, Revolution. Do. Man, I can't remember the order I heard these things. When did this come out? Oh, fuck you. Sorry. Well, man, I don't know. I can't get the timeline right for this. I'm not exactly sure when I heard this stuff. It was when I was skating. Because, like, there was Suicidal Tendencies, Living Color. No, go back. That come out 1990. So yeah, we're still on the timeline, dude. 1990. I should be putting years down. And then I dug back into some of their older stuff, and then so still junior high. Living Color was one. How about what was? When was this? This had to be around that time too. Formed in 84. Was Vivid the one? That Cult of Personality? '88. So I already had that. In my brain, which I loved, and is sadly still relevant today. Wikipedia says 88, so it was in there too, because when that came out, that was also MTV, and like I love that, dude. I love that. So Living Color, Suicidal Tendencies, that brought in some punk stuff. Somewhere in there, I got turned on to Metallica. So I didn't really start listening to Metallica until high school. And a girl I was going out with bought me the Ride the Lightning CD. Man. And I didn't even have a CD player. My brother did though. Um, I think maybe I heard Master of Puppets first. I'm not sure. Very well could be. I think I did hear Master of Puppets first, and my brother had it because I remember being in summer school, taking biology over summer school because it would be easier. And I was we were at Jellystone Park, and we had all our work done, so we could take a break or whatever. And all the other kids were swimming in a little pond there, and I was sitting on the bench listening to Master of Puppets over and over. I absolutely loved it. And then then it was like Sabbath is still there, Suicidal Tendencies is still there, Metallica is still there, and I started getting into thrash because I had to hear Master of Puppets. I had to hear Metallica before Suicidal Tendencies. I had to come about. I don't know. I got into Metallica pretty heavy, then got everything they had. So, and then we went to see Guns N' Roses and Metallica and Faith No More in Indianapolis. Were you a fan of Def Leppard? I didn't mind the music. I liked a couple of them, but I never. I mean, I liked Def Leppard. Yeah, I mean, it was what was on the radio. Once I started seeking out what I wanted to hear, I didn't listen to any of that stuff. I still don't mind Def Leppard, but I never bought like an album and listened to it. No blues. No, I did not get into blues until much later, actually. Much later. So at this point, I started playing. I think I started playing guitar in '91, and these albums I heard after they were out. Because when was Master of Puppets? Was that '88? Um, or was that? I keep thinking. I always have those mixed up in my head. Because I know the Red Lang's older, of course, but um, I think I got it. I got it. Master of Puppets, then Ride the Lightning, and then I finally got Kill 'Em All was a tape I had. Oh no, Kill 'Em All was what I heard. Yeah, I had to Kill 'Em All tape. We had. Oh my gosh, dude, I got that backwards. I actually, I think, man, I heard this first. I heard one first, and then I went back and found Kill 'Em All, and crap, these are all out of order now. Well, not like it matters, but um, They just kill them all, though. Kill them all, then Ride the Lightning. Kill them all, Master Puppets, and Ride the Lightning. And then I kind of never looked back. That's not the end of the story. You know what I mean? Oh, this is the wrong fucking album, but whatever. I gotta get this the right order. Or it will bug me. Oh no. It's gonna be the wrong size. Son of a bitch. Boom, boom, boom. All right. That's better. So when did blues come into it? You know, I think we had the tape Hysteria sitting around for Def Leppard. I do, you know what? It's weird because I was like, no. But now I do remember listening. We did listen to that quite a bit. That's in there too. It's not like an effective memory I had, but we did listen to that. So Skating, Sabbath, a bunch of punk was thrown in there. Then I go to high school and start learning about like Sacred Reich and Armored Saint and all these other thrash bands. But I'm also playing guitar, learning a lot of Metallica. And when did I start getting into blues, dude? I think so. Now we're talking like 1991, and then yeah, fucking grunge, dude. Grunge happened. Is that when would? What was going on? 89 Batman, of course. The soundtrack to that I listened to quite a bit. So this whole time, dude, Faith No More, Sabbath, Batman comes out, and that's all I was obsessed with forever. Skating, Suicidal Tendencies. Metallica had skateboards. Maybe that's why I was aware of them. They had skateboards too by Zorlak. I don't know, dude. It's crazy. When I learned about Metallica, I did not play guitar, and that's what I'm trying to figure out, because in 91 is when I got a guitar, and I remember my neighbor was playing. I mean, Van Halen was in there a lot too. Damn, there's a lot of bands. And my neighbor played guitar, and he'd play like Van Halen and shit, AC/DC. So Thunderstruck, Thunderstruck was huge, dude. Thunderstruck for that album. What was it? The Razor's Edge. Fuck, dude. It's a killer. Thunderstruck is a freaking killer song, man. I've never stopped loving AC/DC. I think they're fucking awesome. And it's weird that they're in here kind of after other stuff, but when did Thunderstruck come out? Because they stayed relevant for a long time, dude. DC. That was 90. Damn. As a major comeback for the band featuring hits Thunderstruck, Are You Ready, Money Talks. 1990. Okay, so 1990, my neighbor's playing guitar and he's playing AC/DC, but he was also playing. When the fuck did Outshine come out, dude? This is wild. What a mix of music, man. '91, bro. Holy fuck. I had started playing guitar, and then Oh my God, dude. This is crazy. What a crazy timeline. So I remember distinctly being on my neighbor's porch, listening, play guitar, playing in Van Halen, all this other shit, and it made me want to play guitar. I'd sit there and watch him and annoy the shit out of him. And then I got a guitar, and it was this old acoustic. And I remember him playing Outshined, and I'm like, "What is that?" Because I didn't know what drop tuning was or anything. He's playing power chords with one finger. I'm like, "Dude." So yeah, oh my God, dude, that's crazy. So it was around this time I started playing guitar. Wow, Metallica. I loved Soundgarden right then too. Well, that's crazy, dude. I think when I got guitar, I just started fucking around with it. Like I didn't have anybody to teach me. My neighbor wouldn't teach me. He's kind of a dick. Uh, so I was just teaching myself, and I just picked up my guitar and I would just start messing around and finding notes. And then I went do 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 do. And I'm like, what? What is that? Do 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 do. And I figured out the first few notes of ABCs. And I just figured out the rest of the song. I found all the notes on one string, and I taught myself how to play it. I'm like, and, I'll go tell my parents, look at this, look what I figured out, and I played it, and they're like, wow, that's good, And then it was on, because in my brain, I understood that if the notes are all there, I can find them, I can play stuff. So I just started learning stuff. Okay. Oh shit. So Soundgarden. When did Les Exorcisto come out, dude? Because there was Gore was in there somewhere, and Green Jello, bro. I gotta remember. Man, a lot of Metallica, AC/DC. Yeah, I think I gotta give it to Bad Motorfinger, dude. Like, man, we should be listening to music. My bad. Like sampling all these fucking songs, but want to get this thing made. I'm gonna put Soundgarden here. I don't think it's right, but I don't know where it goes. What did I just mention? Soundgarden and like Guar was in there somewhere. Green Jello. Green Jelly. It was Green Jello originally, and then Kraft Foods thought people might mistake a fucking tape with Jello or some crap. And I didn't know much about them. I just know they had that little pig, let me in. Let me see. Three Little Pigs. When did that come out? 93. Guest voices by Les Claypool, Maynard Keenan. Yeah, dude. Tool and Green Jello and Primus they all knew each other and were like artsy dorks and all hung out. And they did all these. Green Jello was a video only band at a time when you had to go like rent videos and shit. I love that album. I listen to it all the time. So, oh my gosh. Serial Killer was the name of the band. Let me find that. Is it, God, dude, I love this. The album, I love the album cover. I drew this freaking cow. I love this album cover. I drew it, man. I would sit there and just draw parts of it. Oh, wow. This is a trip. Super important there. So what I mentioned, Green Jello, and what was the other one? Stevie Ray Vaughan did influence me just later. Like, he was a huge part of my life, but it came after all this. but I actually remember seeing him win his Grammy. Like I wasn't watching the show. I didn't know who he was. All I know is he was called up to the stage. He accepted the Grammy, and I remember that. I remember that moment, dude. Stevie Ray Vaughan, like his name stuck with me. I didn't know anything about him, and years later, I will always remember that the image of him walking on stage with whatever he's wearing, like a fucking fur coat and a big feather in his hat or something. Oh, and like accepting this, and I remember his name just being Stevie Ray Vaughan. I thought it sounded cool, and for some reason, dude, that always stuck in my head. I remember seeing him get his Grammy. So yeah, 91, dude. So when was, damn it, when was Serial Killer out? '92, '91, '92. So around the same time. That's crazy. So Green Jello. There's something else I forgot. Around that same time. That's Soundgarden. Got Green Jello. Oh, Guar. Scum Dogs of the Universe. And this one was 90. Okay. This is one that got taken away too once once my mom saw it. She's like, "No." But listen to it. They're funny. No. It was mainly because she saw this image. She's like, no. So I got to put this here. Oh my gosh, dude. This is wild. And then, yeah, amidst all of this, Nirvana comes out. Nirvana comes out. And it just changed everything. Changed everything, man. It really did. Fuck you. Because it was heavy, it wasn't metal, but it was kind of like metal. But nobody could really say, but it didn't feel like metal. You know what I mean? I knew it was heavy. And his voice was just raw, and they didn't dress like idiots. I think Soundgarden was kind of that way too. Like Green Jello and Guar were just freaks, but they obviously weren't dressing in glam. And then you could see my switch from like Faith No More was pretty much normal clothes. Sabbath was a whole lot of video of them, but they're just dudes, Suicidal Tendencies, gangsters from fucking LA. Metallica were just wearing, normal clothes, AC/DC. So I got away from all the glam stuff. Soundgarden, these guys are corny. And then bam, Nirvana comes along. Because I didn't know shit about it. It was like, this is like a big mix of everything going on at the same time. And I know Nirvana came out and it was like, what? I don't know it seems like I heard, I don't know, man. I guess Nirvana blew up everything and made everything more popular, kind of. Everything from Seattle was just awesome. But when did I get into blues? Let's see. Still playing guitar, learning that. So I was playing guitar more. I was in a band. We played some like heavy stuff. Oh shit, dude. White Zombie. That was the other one I wanted to look up. White Zombie. Bro, I was listening to this. I was listening to this album yesterday, and it is so amazing. This was a huge influence on me. This is why I started thinking about this, actually. Probably the biggest influences on me as far as guitar playing goes was Black Sabbath and White Zombie. When did this come out? 92. Right on. So we hadn't gotten to new metal yet. Uh, 92. Man, when did I get into Pantera? I don't even know, man. So yeah, I was playing guitar, and when I heard White Zombie, I'm like, oh. It was another band, like, it didn't sound like anything else. And it just blew me away. And that I had a couple songs that stemmed from just playing like Jay Unger from White Zombie. And I was just like, oh, you can just do this too? Like, it was one of those bands where it opened my eyes. Like, there weren't rules you had to follow. You could do whatever the fuck you wanted. And it sounded so cool, and it was groovy. It's like first time really hearing like groove and metal. Soundgarden, I know that. I mean, that was kind of that way too. But White Zombie just really stuck with me. I hadn't heard anybody like Rob Zombie's voice, and yeah, that was fucking rad. That was pivotal, very pivotal. So playing my own music, writing my own songs, not really jamming with anybody, just playing. And I did join a band at one point. And then let's see, man, there's so much music, but then like it gets to where I finally move out. This is still very young, and a lot of thrash, a lot of heavy shit. 9 Inch Nails somewhere around the same time, because Pretty Hate Machine is being played on Headbangers Ball. They're not Head Like a Hole is being played on Headbangers Ball, and that was 89, right? Maybe it's being played a little late because it was around this time too. But I don't think I got the tape until, let's see, I was working at Kroger's. 15, maybe 16. Yeah, probably 16 or 17. I didn't find 9 Inch Nails till then. So it was a while after it was out, but that was definitely around this time. And then that took over for a long time. Oops. That took over. Just took over, dude. I loved it. And it was another one where it's like, what? You can do this? Like, you know, it wasn't like anything else I'd heard. It was heavy. It was just its own thing. And then Downward Spiral came out, dude. Then it was all over. Then I'm like, it was like pretty much heavy shit all the time. And Downward Spiral came out. Man. Oh no, I didn't want to leave that there. And I just loved it. We jumped over some stuff for sure. But these are the ones that are sticking out in my head. There's definitely a lot more that's not being shown, but because man, I don't even know how to get into like 311 and all that shit. That's just meeting other people, hearing different music. Joe Solito. What's up, Joe? How you doing, man? Welcome. My first albums were Beatles albums for Joe. Wow, man. See, it'd be interesting to me to experience that, like that pivotal moment, man, in music, which I experienced something like that with Nirvana, I think, and you know, like I can't get into the Beatles, but I do like appreciate what they did. Some of it I do like, but it's nothing I really I was really able to just sit and listen to. All right. Do something here. Hello, Bella. Come on in. If I can send that to him. Oh, we can't. It's going. Okay. Elliot went and performed tonight. And he did a great job. It was really cool. Mustang says it saw White Zombie in a tiny nightclub in Ithaca, New York in the late 80s. Awesome, dude. Yeah, that drummer, when I make beats, the drummer from this album, I think it's Ivan DePume was the name of the drummer. Still one of my favorite drummers ever. When I write beats, I'd write beats like what's on this album right here. And some of my rhythmic and like riffing comes directly from White Zombie. The Nine Inch Nails and all that stuff actually has a huge influence on me. And then it wasn't until it was while I was listening to because The Fragile, it took me a while to listen to The Fragile. But I know I was in it was Nine Inch Nails kind of all the time. And at that time I started playing in front of people at open mics. And the guy running it was a blues guy, and he played blues. And I had like one song that was like kind of a blues song, but I didn't know shit about it really. And the guy that was hosting the acoustic open mic was playing blues, and I loved what he did, how he sang, and we became friends. And he was like a mentor, taught me just a lot about performing and everything. And then I started getting into blues, and I learned about Stevie Ray Vaughan, and fuck, dude, he just took over everything. I was still listening. I still listen to all this shit. But my guitar playing just went straight to the blues. So it had to be right around this time, man. Because I remember having The Fragile, actually. This was 94. When was The Fragile? Because I think that's 2003. Damn. No. Couldn't have been. No. 99. Okay, that makes more sense. So 10 years. Okay. 90. Recorded 97, 99. Oh, Broken, dude. Oh, shit, dude. Yeah, Nine Inch Nails, Broken. Oh my gosh. I can't even. That was there too. Learned about Broken after. I don't know. It's all a blur. We'll go through and we should sample like all of these fucking songs. The ones that made it. Maybe. All three of those are in there. And then it was Stevie Ray. I mean, I always liked Hendrix too, but I never really learned any of his stuff. So once I got into Hendrix, I started getting to listen to Stevie Ray and listen to Hendrix or to Stevie Ray, and it got me like reversed. Like I was always aware of Hendrix, but I never paid much attention to what was going on. So once I started paying attention to what was going on, is where it like that was a like it really affected my playing because everything kind of learning the scales that Jimmy used changed how I saw guitar. And seeing how he applied them and seeing what Stevie did with his music and how he changed it really changed my approach to like music in general and especially like playing guitar. So I got to put Stevie in here cuz it was like uh man. I think it was I don't know if I got Texas Flood or if it was I think it was In Step and then it was like everything. It's a big jump. Big switch up, but I still love like all of it. And then it's like blues. Bam, blues. I just went full blues mode and stayed there. What's up, Mikoto? What's the goal with this list? I'm just I don't know. I mean, these are what shaped if you think about it, dude, if you were into music, if music was important to you, then you listen to it and you absorb it and it tells a lot about you. Like before I really get I listen to pop stuff. I still listen to rap and hip hop. I like that. But then it gets into this area here where it's like, you know, the most popular thing in the world. And then I mean, there was tons of 80s shit that you know, Madonna, Cyndi Lauper, and Boy George, and uh, Tears for Fears, and U2, and all this shit was going on, and I was aware of it all and liked it all, but I never bought any of it. It wasn't until this is the first one I bought was the Faith No More. Well, my first thing I bought was Electric Breakdance and LL Cool J, and then you know, random shit, and then Faith No More. In my head, the first thing I go to when I think about the first thing I bought was Faith No More. Technically not right, but maybe it's the first time I went on like by myself to a store and bought a tape. And then it kind of, you know, lyrically, like the Sabbath songs kind of affected me a lot, and what Suicidal Tendencies was saying. Metallica's kind of like whatever. But once I got into like Master of Puppets and Ride the Lightning, there was some pretty, you know, heavy stuff going on lyrically there. AC/DC was just fun. Soundgarden, again, lyrically, but then I was listening to goofy shit like Green Jello and Guar. And so, you know, Nine Inch Nails, obviously some shit going on lyrically there. So I don't know what the goal is, dude. Spinny says, it's so interesting. There's quite a few bands you mentioned that are my all-time favorites and others I have never heard of. Yeah, and dude, there was I skipped over a whole fucking era, bro. Because around the same time, oh, that's crazy. I just skipped nu metal. And I listened to a shitload of it. I fucking miss Pantera. And Danzig. And then when Korn came out, oh my God. Because that's all around. That was still in school. This is all wrong. I mean, Nine Inch Nails, and then when did nu metal happen? Fuck, man. Rage. Whenever Rage came out, that was another huge one. I think it's all kind of mixed in, like here, because damn, bro, that's high school stuff. Stevie was like after high school, man, and even the Fragile was after high school, but this was during high school. So okay, I'm gonna have to move Stevie. when did the Downward Spiral was 94. What's the first? So some blame or attribute new metal to Faith No More. I mean, that was probably one of the more first popular ones. But even White Zombie, his approach was almost in a hip hop manner, like Rob Zombie's vocals, his cadence and stuff was the first time I really heard that, and that was the even heavier stuff. And then when did Follow the Leader come out? What the fuck am I doing? Can't type. Oh no, it wasn't Follow the Leader. It was the first one. Never got the life, oh I say. Okay, it's just called Corn. That was 94. Really should have put years on these things. 94. So Corn kicks off. Oh my gosh, dude. See, oh. All right. Let's go. God, dude. Damn. I learned about Pantera through Headbangers Ball as well. Cowboys from Hell. And at that time, that was the heaviest thing I'd ever listened to. Pantera Far Beyond Driven. No, not even. Trendkill sucks. Vulgar display of power. I'm grabbing this one here. This was the heaviest shit I had ever heard in my life. It's all out of whack, dude. We'll throw this right here. Stevie came later. And at this time, I'm also listening to what? I gotta get this one here. Well, Far Beyond Driven, when did this come out? Far Beyond Driven would be important to know when that was. 94. What else was 94? Was Horn. That also was that dude. What a crazy time for music. Far Beyond Driven is okay, so that's what happened. Far Beyond Driven comes out, and that was like the heaviest shit I had heard. I know Mouth for War and all that. The vulgar display of power and Pantera was like constantly going through. This is in the wrong spot too. Constantly going through my head. And then Korn comes out. And that was the heaviest thing I'd ever heard in my life. And I absolutely loved it. I listened to it. That was what I listened to. I went from Pantera to Korn. And it was a week before I realized there wasn't any guitar solos in it. Never did anything like John Davis. Funk metal phase. Well, shit, man. Primus. Oh, dude. I liked Primus. The video was played quite a bit. So I would I enjoyed them, but I never went out and bought it until later. And once I got it, I was like, dude, it was, I just loved it so much, man. When did this come out? 91. Yeah, dude. So they're like, bro, 91 was like, Primus is, they're fucking wild, dude. They were in there, man. I should have, oh, damn. I got to put them in there because they were just like filtered throughout stuff. Because they were, I'd be being played the same time I heard about, I don't know, dude. Where do they go? This Headbangers Ball, that would have been around Metallica time, Suicidal Tendencies time. So I had to go in here somewhere, dude. Like, it was in here. It was in there because, yeah, dude, because of the, he made me think of bass. And then when I listened to Suicidal Tendencies and hear Robert Trujillo play bass. Yeah. Okay. So it was around that time. So yeah, listen to Primus. That's crazy, dude. And Hendrix is the other thing. Like, I didn't appreciate him till later because there was oh god, dude, Korn, yeah, Limp Bizkit, 311, those are probably the main ones from all that shit that I listened to, honestly. And 311 was like, once I heard them, they were the best thing just ever. The fuck? Let me see here. I need to grab like these. They were also huge. Damn, dude. Yeah. I met there's guys that are like a grade behind me in school, and they were listening to, they were kind of more into this stuff. What a journey, man. And we're only up to like, when did that come out? God, man. Because they were around for a long time too before music was 93, bro. Damn. I think I heard of them because of 311, and then Music and Grassroots came out. Well, no, friends I had told me about them, so I had to go listen to that, and I just got pulled into everything. I just loved it, man. Loved it. 311 Music, Grassroots, 311. Yeah. Kept listening to him after that. But in this time, I'm actually, oh my god, dude. No, because I remember listening to 311. I still lived it. Yeah, I still live at home. I listen to all this stuff, and I still lived at home. Joe says, Ryan, were you a Chevelle fan also? I was, yeah, but that wasn't until like much later. Okay, 311. And do remember. Yeah, I remember listening to that in the CD player, learning all the songs. Yeah, that was like. I gotta shift all this down. Because the Fragile I didn't listen to for a couple of years. Like once I finally listened to it, I loved it. Oh, this is weird. Okay, that screws all that up. Anyway, there's that. Looks a bit more right. Then we get into still high school. Right out of high school. Then what? Like all the new metal shit. During that, I started listening to a lot of blues. A lot of blues, some big band like Brian Setzer orchestra stuff. I love that. Then I'm like living on my own. I think Papa Roach came out around that time. So I'll always listen to a bunch of weird shit, like a big variety. Man, 11 Zen. I think the first thing I played with a band in front of people, not my own band, but a band, was Down by 311. I sat in with the band here in town at a bar. Put that bug in me right there. Now it's getting a little fadey. It's getting real blurry. 311. Then I think the Fragile. I should have all these on their own fucking tabs. Because I remember I was doing some freelance work, just doing some graphic design stuff. I needed something to like just listen to while I was doing my work. And so I put on the Fragile. I didn't really like it when it came out. And then when I put it on, I finally understood it. And I was like, oh my God, this is the best thing ever. But I was still like learning Stevie Ray Vaughan, like spending hours watching video of Stevie Ray Vaughan playing concerts and learning how to play guitar as close as I could to him or whatever. So my music went to a lot of learning and writing music and playing stuff with bands. And dude, I don't even have Alice in Chains in this shit. What the hell, man? Because that fucking, I love them too, dude. This is crazy. Because that was Dirt, right? Fucking, Man in the Box. Do, 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 do. That was on Facelift. Okay. Damn. Bad Ryan. I didn't have the album. But they were, I don't think I wasn't super into them until later. And then they're just the best fucking thing in the world. I almost want to just grab a picture of the fucking band. This will be another one where it'll just be like, hold on. Yeah, it'll be like this. Because these albums they had to be here too. Oh no, they're not gonna fit. They were kicking around there too. That might have to be it for tonight, man. I'm gonna have to continue this because this is. blues, a lot of blues stuff, and all the else, the industrial and the metal and the grunge was all in there being thrown around at the same time. But then that's from up until when I started this, I was still listening to all that same shit. Pretty much from here on, from this is still on the right screen. Yeah, from here on, Faith No More, all these bands I listened to up until I started hanging out with you guys. And that's kind of crazy. Because we're talking what? I had moved, so I was like 20, 21, 22. I really got into Primus around then. And I was still listening to all this stuff from Black Sabbath on. And then when did I start doing this? That's crazy. That's a long time, dude. I went into like stasis. I don't remember how long I've been doing this. Will it say in my should go right through. I already got it open. It's kind of dumb to keep opening shit. Does it say how long I've been here? Joined May 18th, 2014. So for 12 years, that's not a lot of progress. But if we look at, my first one was Metallica, I think, 5 years ago. Look how skinny I was. There's my metal version of Enter Sandman. Oh, that's me. We got 4 or 5 people watching. I think this was the first one I did, actually. Shortest straw. That is the first one I did. So 5 years ago. Yeah, because it was right after. Oh, yeah, it was in the bad times. I have a big head. Dumbass. Started Discord in 21. Okay, so yeah, it was soon after this. You guys were like, you need to do this, you need to do that. I'm like, okay. So up until 21. So this whole thing here, we're talking, I mean, this is like 95. There's some there was more new metal shit that I had. But this stuff, yeah, I didn't really worry about anything new. Filter was in there. Filter was huge, dude, for me. Actually, another one I listened to the most. Weezer. Fuck, dude, there's so many bands. Because it was all in this era too. Weezer, shit, dude. Veruca Salt. I think I found Veruca Salt after Weezer. Wow. Dude. When did that come out? I gotta just put it down here somewhere because it was kicking around too the same time. All this stuff is all high school, man. Veruca Salt is a sound. Let's see. American Thighs, which is a shout out to AC/DC. Oops, that's pretty small. That's okay. Absolutely pivotal. It's like this was the first time I really got into a female-led group was Veruca Salt, and it didn't even faze me. And I realized that nobody else was listening to that. So yeah, so about, I guess, 6 years. It seems like it was longer than that. because all this is like 95, 97, 90, 96, 97. I mean, this is all like 95 earlier. There was, I mean, subsequent albums from bands that came out, Ozzy, stuff like that. Like Osmosis was huge too. Man, when was that out? Yeah, I know. Uh, 95, bro. That was a huge one, man. That was pretty huge. Great, great album. So it was around here too, dude. That's crazy. And then pretty much we'll call it 5 years of listening to the same shit. I mean, a lot of bands, but a lot of the same stuff over and over and over. And then you guys hit me with first it was Baby Metal, didn't work. Then Nightwish, which I did listen to Nightwish. And then after that, dude, it was what you've seen me become. Premier. And it was Thrill, and that was also 5 years ago. Yeah, so it all kind of took off then. So I should what did I say just before band? Oh, yeah, Nightwish. I mean, this band, dude, they are amazing, and I do love them. But I have not kept up listening to them. I will put them in here because I didn't buy anything, but they were pivotal in me doing what I'm doing today. It was like Nothing, Nightwish, and then pretty much you know the rest of it. Look at this. Oh, that's them. That's all that really matters anymore. We'll just do this. it was Bandmade. It was just Bandmade. Oh, the Nightwish one went away. They're pretty big in that too. And then all the other stuff. It's crazy how much, and I've heard so much more from all this, from this era that, you know, we just didn't know were there. It's pretty crazy, man. Maybe I should make this bigger so you can actually see it. But the journey to like listening to what you want versus what your parents want or what they allow you to listen to. Pretty crazy. 11:40 drinking coffee. That's a great idea. Well, I guess that's it, man. I kind of got up to date. Now, you know, I'm not going to track all this other stuff because it's documented. It's documented. I'll just go through my playlist and or all my videos, you know. There you go. I guess that's my journey. That's my musical nutshell. And it's weird. I don't have Hendrix in there because he was. Oh, I didn't put Stevie back in. I gotta fix that, dude. Gotta fix that because really, all the time I played bands. Um, I was listening to Stevie and Hendrix, and I gotta put Stevie in here. If I don't respect him and Jimmy, then that's just horrible. They can't be as big as Band Aid. Let me see here. I got Stevie Ray Vaughan. More the person than any of his specific albums, because I think Stevie Ray Vaughan as a person was just so amazing. He was such a nice and caring dude. Yes, he had his problems, but he beat it. He beat it. He beat his problems with alcohol and drugs and persevered. Sadly, got killed in a helicopter accident. It was, I got to put him here, and I got to get Jimmy. And then that's going to be it. Come on, dude. Come on, man. Jimmy and Stevie are like one entity in my guitar playing friggin' journey. All right. We'll get him in here. Oh, damn it. I didn't solidify that one. And this will be, I don't know, maybe it'll be my fucking backdrop for a while. That guy wasn't in Nightwish anyway. We'll cover him up. Sweet. There we go, dude. There's my freaking snapshot. I guess. T. Louis 2 says, the first CD I bought with my money I earned was Depeche Mode's Songs of Faith and Devotion. Right on. The Police. Yeah. So, hey, man, I didn't know how this was going to go, and I knew it was going to be a bit rambly, but maybe I can keep this graphic, and I need to date things so I can have like a quick glance reference thing, so help me remember stuff. That's fun though. Kind of fun sorting it out. When we got around this area, I'm like, oh, there's so much until now, and there really wasn't, because it was the same shit. But really digging in on these two, and then I started YouTube, Nightwish, Bandmade, and everything we got going on here. So anyway, thanks for hanging out tonight. That's fun. Yeah. Maybe I can make a thumbnail with all these bands on it. People be like, what is this? And they're going to be like, dude, this is boring as fuck. Guy doesn't know what he's doing. Right on. Drew. Yeah, man. Crazy journey. Crazy journey. All right, guys. I think I'll do it for me tonight. Thanks for hanging out. This was fun to go back to this stuff and kind of map it out. Still some gaps, but it's mostly there. So have a good night. I will be back tomorrow with the Patreon stream. Please show up and watch over on Twitch. And you know what? I will see you later. Thank you. Mm-hmm.